Welcome to the Anything for Sports podcast. My name is Drew Jackson. Today with me, we have a guest. His name is Ryder Elisaldez. There we go.
All good. All good.
There we go.
Elisaldez.
Just say Ellie.
Elisaldez.
If you can get the first part, Ellie, then
Elisaldez.
There we go. Hey, at least you screw up at the beginning, right?
Yeah,
Not at
all
the
good.
state championship game. You want to get those mistakes out of the way. Regular season. That was regular season. Now we're going to playoffs. We're going to playoffs. Wow. Ryder Elisaldez. Welcome to the Anything for Sports podcast. My name is Drew Jackson. Today we have a guest with us, Mr. Ryder Elisaldez. We're going to go over some of his highlights, his introduction, make sure we introduce him properly. That's okay, Ryder?
Yes, sir.
All right. So Ryder is a McDonald's All-American nominee, Gatorade Player of the Year finalist, 2023-2024 Nevada 5A state champion, commit for UC San Diego, Bishop Gorman, and Las Vegas Elite alumni. Ryder, how you doing?
I'm happy to be here. I'm excited to get this podcast going and ready to talk.
Hey, appreciate you coming.
Yes,
So
sir.
we're going to jump right into it. So I know a little bit about you. I kind of started following you really right when I picked up sports videography. I think the first game I recorded was the Liberty Bishop Gorman game at Liberty
Okay.
the year they won state championship.
Okay.
The first game I came to and started really kind of getting to know all the guys on the team, right? I want to kind of rewind a little bit before that and learn a little bit about Ryder. I got some pieces, some tidbits from your dad. I know a little bit here and there. Talked to some of the family at senior night, but I want to get it straight from the source. So talk to me about young Ryder. What were you like as a kid? Was it always basketball? Like, did you play multiple sports? Tell me a little bit about young Ryder.
So it's been basketball since day one. So I never played any other sports. Like growing up at recess, I would play football and whatnot. I always liked it, but like never ever played any like other real sports other than basketball. So yeah, my dad put the ball in my hand when I was like 1 year old. So I was like on the little baby hoops and whatnot. And then I started playing like real basketball when I was 3. I played up with my brother. So my brother was like 5. So I always grew up playing and I fell in love with that at an early age. And then all of my siblings, so I have 3 siblings and we all played basketball growing up. They ended up like choosing other sports. My brother plays soccer and my other brother played volleyball. But when I got to the age around like middle school age is when I really started to like realize that this was something serious and like I could really take this somewhere. But yeah, growing up, it's always been basketball since day one and really fell in love with the game.
I could see you as a soccer kid. Like you have a strong legs.
Really?
Like he has a soccer body. Like when I look at you, I see like midfielder. Like
Nah.
midfielder, soccer body. Kind of got the soccer look going on. Like I can definitely see that. Olympic soccer Ryder.
My footwork says
Footwork?
otherwise. No,
No,
I can't.
don't got
I
it?
mess around with my brother. He's
Yeah,
good.
but your brother.
He's
So you're
legit.
legit.
He's fast as can be. I think I'd be a goalie. I'd be in the box. I don't think I could do anything outside of the box.
Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds like sports runs in the family.
For
So we
sure.
got siblings playing sports. We have dad played sports. So tell me what you know about your dad's sports career.
Oh, I know a lot.
You know a lot.
We just grew up telling all the stories of just high school games to college games to playing professionally in Mexico. So he actually played in Mexico and then he played in the NBA Summer League for a little bit and the ABA. So he played all his whole life pretty much. And then my mom was a gymnast. A lot of people don't know that. We joke that I get my bounce from my mom because I always make fun of my dad because he doesn't dunk like that. Like so, I always say I get my bounce from my mom. So she was a high-level gymnast. She actually broke both of her feet at the same time. Yeah, so that sounded horrible, but she had that really tough injury.
Yeah.
So she ended up coaching gymnastics and cheer for a while. But so both my parents are athletes, and then my siblings. So my older brother, he's at UNLV, and he does the club team. So they don't have like a Division I team, but he runs, manages, coaches, plays for the UNLV club volleyball. So he has that going on. And then I mentioned my little brother Grayson. He plays for Heat, and he goes to Coronado. He's a state champ too, so they won last year.
Yep.
So yeah, he's a left back and center back, and he's really good. And then my sister, she played volleyball for a while, and now she runs, and she's like my road trip. Like she goes to all the games with my mom, and so she's a great supporter. So yeah, we definitely love sports.
So was there ever any push from mom, like, let's try gymnastics. Let's get you on the.
My younger siblings kind of. So
Yeah.
my sister did gymnastics growing up, and then Grayson, the soccer player, he tried a little when he was growing up. He can do backflips still to this day, but me never,
Not so
because
much.
I've never had that like coordination. I don't.
Can you do a backflip?
No.
Can you
never.
do a cartwheel?
I can do a cartwheel.
Cartwheel.
I got a
Okay.
cartwheel in the back
Cartwheel in the
and
back.
like a somersault. I can do like a little forward roll
Okay.
every now and then.
that's
Yeah.
okay. So sports, athletic family. So talk to me about your, again, kind of growing up and how you got to Las Vegas. Because there's a lot of people I kind of talk with, you know, myself, I'm from Wisconsin.
Okay.
I moved here after college in 2010.
Mhm.
Like, not that many people are like from Las Vegas,
Definitely.
grew up here. So I'm always interested in like that journey of what age, when the family transitioned, and then like how it was like for you kind of getting used to a brand new city and kind of starting over.
Yeah, so I was born in California,
Yeah.
so Downey, California, not too far outside of LA. And we always talk about this originally. So my dad and my mom had a 5-year plan. So it was like, just get out here, make some money. You know, Vegas was developing,
Booming, yeah.
wasn't as big as it is now. Like, we're still growing to this day. But so we were just going to come out here for 5 years, move back to California, but they fell in love with it. So they loved Vegas. And so we moved when I was about 5. So to be honest, like, California is still like my original home, but now Vegas is home. Like, this is where I grew up. And the transition, like, I was really young, so I didn't really feel it like that. But just growing up in Vegas, I love it. So you have a lot of people who like, oh, I hate Vegas. I don't like growing up here. Me personally, like, I love the city.
Yeah.
It's been great to me. And then obviously the basketball aspect, I feel like the last couple of years has really taken off, you know? So I feel like with like the basketball in Las Vegas, especially, it's been great to me. So yeah, I love Vegas.
So moved to Vegas. You were already playing basketball. At what point do you get introduced to Vegas Elite?
I was around 5th grade. So I've been with Vegas Elite like almost my
Right,
whole life. Yeah. So my dad, he coached this is the Lions, Las Vegas Lions. We like, it was just a startup, like individual little tiny team. We were pretty good. We had some really good players. If you remember, Jonathan Braggs played, Ray Daniels, Zach Branch, Zion Branch when we were little kids.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of athletes, but around 5th grade, it was kind of like, okay, like, what else are we going to do? Because I think we stopped the Lions, so it was like, we got to figure out what to do.
Right. And
that was just the big AAU club in Las Vegas was Vegas Elite.
Right.
I think at the time it was Vegas Elite and Prospects.
Yeah.
But so we got in with Vegas Elite, Coach Sitter, Coach Rich, they're all there. And then really from there, it just took off. You know, Coach Said, that's been one of my biggest mentors, biggest coaches, biggest blessings in my life in the basketball world was Coach Said. So growing up, just playing with that core group of guys really just took off from that point.
We're going to kind of jump ahead a little bit because we're already on kind of the Vegas Elite point.
Okay.
Because I got the opportunity to travel 2 summers ago with Vegas Elite to all the different EYBL stops. You were obviously a part of that team. Unfortunately, and that's, you know, with your story, having started so young, like that's early Vegas Elite, right? So you were with them from 5th grade all the way. You make it to probably one of the best teams they've ever had. You guys are poised and ready to make a real run and crack at Beach Jam Championship.
That was a great team.
And that's obviously the season where you had your injury. So we're going to kind of fast forward. Talk to me about your injury, how that happened, what it was, and we'll kind of talk about like how that kind of transitioned into the summer a little bit.
A lot of people don't know is the foot. So I had a broken bone
Right.
on my 5th metatarsal, so my toe bone on the side of my foot.
Okay.
And
Because you're saying complicated words. I'm like,
yeah,
fifth
really
metatarsal,
complicated.
like,
So metatarsal,
yeah.
so it's just it's the toe bone. So it's
Toe
on the
bone,
side
toe
of my
bone.
foot. So like
Okay.
right here, but on my foot.
Got it.
So I had a fracture that I didn't know about, and I injured it during the school year. So I believe that was my junior.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be my junior year.
Yep.
So for the last like month and a half of my junior year, I was playing on a broken foot essentially.
You
but
had no idea.
I knew I was hurt.
Right.
So one day after practice, I'm driving home and my foot just hurts, like really burns. And I'm like, that feels weird. Like, that's not right. But I hadn't cut my tape off because I do ankle tape. So I was like, oh, it's just my ankle tape. Like, I'll cut it when I get home. So got home, cut the tape off, and my foot is still really hurting. So I'm like, okay, this might be something serious, but we're still pushing for a state championship.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm not sitting like
Right.
this. I'm
We
trying to
gotta
get
play.
a ring. I still, at this point, I don't have a ring.
Right.
So I told myself, like, you know what? I'll just deal with it after season. So I'm taking ibuprofen before games. I'm having Gus just tape me up real well. I'm just like, yeah, just put some more tape on there. And so we finished out the season. Obviously, it didn't go the way we planned. So looking back, I'm like,
I could. Yeah.
Wish I didn't play, but.
Right.
So my mom was preaching the whole month, Ryder, you need to chill. Ryder, go get an x-ray. Just get an x-ray. And I'm like, I don't need an x-ray. I'm playing on it. I'm walking on it, running on it. Like, it's not broken or anything. And so we go, and the doctor looks at the x-ray, and he looks at us, and he's like, you've been playing on this for how long? And I was like, a month and a half. And he's like, yeah, that's a fractured bone. And we're just like, oh, wow. So he essentially breaks it down and says, from this point, you either get surgery now or you wait and let it heal because it's already starting to heal.
Right.
So he shows us the healing, and he's like, it's already starting to heal, but you didn't allow yourself time to heal because you played on it. So at that point, I'm like, I don't want surgery. That's the last thing anyone wants to do.
Right.
So I don't get the surgery, and I sit out about another month, and it should heal. And we're checking up, doing x-rays, and it is healing. So I'm like, okay, this is looking good. I'll play my summer. It was my last summer, 17U. We have the team, like you talked about. We're going for Peach. So we felt like our year. And my year, big year for recruitment. That's your 17U summer. That's a huge deal. And so we get to the point where before this first session, we go back, like, this should be one of my last x-rays. And they're like, it's still not healed.
Right.
And it's now another time for a decision. Like, do I play on it again or do I get more rest?
You played
to get the
first
surgery?
session.
And I played the first session, which shouldn't have done again. It was miserable. My foot was hurting so bad, but I just wanted to play. I wanted to be out there with my guys my last year. Wanted to get more recruitment, So I ended up playing on it that first session, and I can't move. I think you remember. I just like
you could tell like again because a lot of your game is explosiveness. And so maybe if you were just like a spot up shooter or something, like you could have maybe adapted a little more, but everything you do from offense to defense is having to guard the best players, having to go, that like I can imagine you're just putting a constant beating on it where it's.
So it was pretty rough. So then following that, like I believe like in the third game of that session, like I knew I was done, and I was just like, at that point, like I accepted it. I was going to try it out. If I could have went and played and felt good on it, I could have had the end of my summer, but ended up getting surgery that summer, which put me out for about 3 months total healing process, which it wasn't terrible. I accepted that I was going to lose my summer, and I was like, you know what, let's just work for senior year. Let's finish the right way and get that state championship, which we ended up doing. But the injury, it was definitely a real challenge. And I feel like in my whole career, like I've never really dealt with a serious injury like that. I've had sprained ankles and broken fingers, but never anything that seriously put me out a long time. So those 3 months where I couldn't play basketball, it was miserable. It was bad.
So like with that injury, so I'm thinking so it's junior year, you're going into summer. So where are you in your recruitment process around this time? Because that's another, not only are you just missing the summer, but you're like, man, this is a time where I really still need to get out there and go. So where were you kind of in the recruitment process to be comfortable to say, hey, I feel good with the interest I have, with, I've talked back and forth with the coaches and the programs, I'm going to recover and like missing this summer, I'm going to be okay.
Yes, sir. So initially, like I always in my own mind wanted to know where I was going to go before my senior year. Right. So by the end of that summer, I wanted to know. Like I didn't want to have to be waiting my senior year to figure out where I'm going to be. And I had already built a great relationship with UC San Diego and other schools, but I had good recruitment at the time. But before that summer, I wanted to see where it was going to take off. So I wanted to see who else was going to reach out or what other relationships I could have built. But also I took a official visit to UC San Diego around the time of my injury. Yeah. And it was great. It was amazing. The coaching staff, the play style, they sat me down in a room and kind of broke down my film along with their film. And it really just kind of opened my eyes like, okay, this school is serious and I really do fit in well. Like I could see myself making these plays that I make with Bishop Gorman and Vegas Lee in their system. Yeah. So my official visit went great. And I was like, if I'm going to get this surgery, I have this school that I really love. They seem to they really love me. I built a great relationship with the coaching staff. And from there, it was just kind of like a no-brainer. Like on my visit is when I committed because that visit went so well. And I knew that I wasn't going to be playing that summer. So I was like, well, this is my number one school. So I was beyond happy to commit to UC San Diego.
Right. And we talked about Vegas Elite, but the summer also is Section 7 too, right? So that's another huge thing where you're like, hey, because jump into Section 7, because this interview, we're just going to jump all over the place. When I think of Ryder moments.
Oh, yeah.
Section 7. I don't know the team, so I was jumping this was probably the first Section 7 I did. So I was new to it.
Mm-hmm.
There's, 12, 15, 16 courts. I'm just jumping back and forth trying to create a schedule. And I got to you guys' game late. It was on the main court, I think court 8 on that side.
Yes,
and you guys were down. And it was a knockout round. Like this was a you lose. This is bracket play. You lose, done. And so I got there maybe, and I'm gonna put the film's coming in here, we're splicing it in, but maybe third quarter, I want to say. And so you guys were down, and then all of a sudden Ryder, like not just the last play, but like really helping to carry the team. And you guys were down. You didn't have there were 2 people out.
2 people didn't play.
Richardson.
I know Jace, yeah. So Jace.
And I want to say Mobley.
No, Junie played.
Junie played.
Junie played.
There was somebody else.
Someone else. Chris played.
We'll see it in the film, but I remember they were down. We were down. 2. You were down. We were down. 2 key people. Was Keenan?
Keenan played.
Keenan played. You were down 2 people, and so like you had to step up because I think again that's going into that's a summer of sophomore, going into your junior year. And so, you're establishing yourself on the team, and you have a lot of other big names there. So now there's an opportunity for Ryder to make a bigger name for himself, right? To really say like that you've been doing all Section 7, but now bracket play down not just 2 points. You guys were down a little bit. Like it wasn't looking good when I walked over there. I was like, I'll just get some highlights. Yeah. Like, oh man, this looks rough. So you were down bad, and then all of a sudden, like, you guys started to go, and you really started to move the team. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about what you remember about that game.
I always think of that game as one of my favorite games I've ever played in.
Yeah.
That still sticks out to me as, like, when people ask, like, oh, your favorite memory in basketball, that game is definitely one of them. So it was Olympus, Utah team. We were down, I believe it was 21 points in the second half. So we played awful in the first half. We just couldn't make a shot, couldn't get a stop. And Utah teams, they just shot the lights out.
Yeah.
So we were just hand down, and they were just hitting threes in our face. And so we go down 21. And it's weird. I always talk about this playing for Bishop Gorman. Just growing up in the city, it's always felt like Gorman always finds a way to win.
Right.
Like I'd be a little kid. I think I remember them playing Clark, and they're down like, this is like Charles O'Bannon. This is like those guys, Jamal Bay and them. And they're down like 8 points or something with like 30 seconds left. You shouldn't win that game.
Right.
I think it's in state playoffs, and they somehow find a way to win. So on the bench, like that's all I could think about is like we're gonna win. Like we're down 21 points, and we're telling the guys like we're winning this game. Like we are winning this game. So going into that second half, we switched it up. We just pressured them. So we were trapping at half court. We were trying to get out in transition. And I just remember like being in the moment. It was just like you felt it coming. Like we cut it to 15. Then they called a timeout. Then we go on a 5-0 run, cut it to 10. So at that point, it was just win the game at whatever cost. And then as for myself, like I've always just tried to play the right way. So whether it was looking up in transition and getting a fast break, or hitting Chris on a roll for a big dunk, or reading the play and hitting a three. So that was just what I was trying to do, was just play the right way, what I always do. And for that game, it just happened to work out that it really like worked well for me, And so we ended up coming back, and then that last play, you remember we fouled?
Yeah.
So we fouled on a three.
It was the one thing you can't do.
Foul a shooter on a three.
The one no.
So we foul a shooter on a three, and I think we go down 1 because he makes both free throws. And again, we shouldn't win. So now we're down with like 5 seconds left.
And you have to go full court.
We didn't call a timeout either. We didn't call a timeout. So it was just like, I'm just going to go. I forgot who took it out, but I just came to the ball, and I just went full court, and I wanted to get all the way to the rim, but I like knew I didn't know how much time I had. I know I had 3-2, so I'm counting in my head 3-2, so I took a bump and then just kind of floated it up, and it was like right inside the three. I just floated up, and it thankfully went in. But that was a great memory.
To me, this was an iconic Ryder play and Ryder moment. It was a three, a floater, a layup, and a dunk. I feel like all in one, because it was like your style of floater. Yeah. You also, and you have it in some of your dunk package. You have like a little kind of balance thing you do with your legs where you kind of like, I'll shorten the highlight. And so it was like, it happened and you made it. And like, it was like not shocking, but it was like an awe moment. Like wow. Everybody was like, did that just happen? Because again, no timeouts. Like I don't even think people got a chance to like look up and calculate like, okay, 5 seconds, down 1. Like it just, free throw happened, bam, 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 Ryder makes it. And everybody's like,
jumping all
and then
over,
all of a sudden,
that
like,
was fun.
and then again, you guys went on to win it.
Went on to win.
Which doesn't happen.
Which was a big deal.
Which was a huge deal. Yeah. So you went on to win the whole bracket, which was big. So I feel like that game for you and the other player I think of is Nick. That for both of you guys, because Nick had to step up too. I think like the game for both of you, especially defensively, before that versus Notre Dame, because they had
Caleb Foster, Dusty Stromer, Mercy Miller.
And so you guys had to. I'd say I put Keenan in there too. You three had to guard that game, right? And so that was a huge thing to watch you and Nick really like elevate like your game to the level that you were playing against. I felt was a huge jump for you. And then again, taking all the way to the championship. And I think once you guys won that game, I was like, oh, you guys are like, I'm like, you guys, if you continue to play like that, I'm like, you guys got it, right? Yeah. And as I mentioned, I'm going to have to remember who the other person was. When you're down 2 4-star, 5-star starters, you know, there's conversation around like, can Bishop Gorman do it? Do they got enough people? Is Ryder going to be able to step up? And being able to like prove yourself, show, you know, prove doubters wrong, like showcase your talent, I think sets you on the path for where you are now. And again, propelled you into junior year that season and then senior year, which I felt like was kind of another run of like Section 7, right? So senior year, you have another standout year, and it's another, you're being placed on, I wouldn't say a pedestal, but you're given a lot of responsibility, right? So again, going into your senior year, you guys have somewhat of a newish team, we'll just call it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, is that a good way to say it?
That's a great way.
So you guys have somewhat of a newish team, so it's like, not only do you have to step up, but a lot of people have to redefine their roles.
Definitely.
Like, so you're going to have to do a lot more, right? You're going to have to lead, not that you weren't leading before, but you're going to have to bring everyone along with you, right? That Section 7 season, like you had a lot of high caliber talent that you could like easily rely on. You didn't have to worry about.
So much star power.
So much star power. Now you got a lot of young guys that are leaning on you to kind of like lead them to the promised land.
Makes sense.
And then you do, right? So, you know, going through sophomore year, which was the loss to Liberty in the state championship game, which is tough, right? So I was there for that. That was and again, I was new to both teams. Like, that was my first season. That was probably 7 games into learning Las Vegas basketball. So I didn't know really either side. It's funny, I got invited up from the Liberty cheerleaders. Oh, wow. So I've been going to the games, and I was doing, not just when basketball, you know, they call it timeout, I'd start filming the cheerleaders. So I'm like, why not? Yeah. And a bunch of the little clips went viral. So it was actually that I had never met Liberty coach. Cheerleading,
I didn't know that.
Cheerleading coach was like, hey, can you come with us?
That's cool.
You're the only people taking photos of us.
Because I remember the videos on the bus and whatnot. I remember seeing
They're
those.
like, can you come to state with us? So I'm like, might as well. There's basketball here too, right?
For sure.
So that kind of got me there. But then again, being able to really be introduced to you guys, and from that moment kind of follow your journey has been awesome. But so I know that was a challenging time for you, because again, going into that was supposed to be Bishop Gorman's 10th straight title, to take the record. Like, that's a lot of pressure, right? National record, 10 straight. It's on you guys' back. Obviously doesn't go the way you guys want. Talk to me about going from that moment to your senior year, reclaiming the title, kind of putting Bishop Gorman back at that, you know, where you would say where we're supposed to be. What was that feeling like?
That felt great. Obviously a lot of pressure, as you mentioned, and the thing people forget about that junior year, or sophomore year, so that was my sophomore year, the year we lost, is we were 30-0.
Yeah.
We hadn't lost a game. So we beat Liberty.
And you had a national schedule.
I had a national schedule. We had a really good schedule, and we're 30-0. So obviously that's forgotten because we lose. So that year is scratched. So like sophomore year, we didn't win. Like, if you don't win, people forget. So we lost sophomore year, and then junior year was a mess. Like, I mean, everyone really knows about that. Junior year, it wasn't Bishop Gorman basketball. We didn't play the right way. So that's year's scratch. So that's now 2 years where it's just like not Bishop Gorman.
Where are we going, right?
Where are we going?
And again, sophomore year, beat Liberty 3 times in the regular season.
And lost in overtime.
By
1, I think.
Man.
So that hurt, that stung for a while, and then we had that sour taste in our mouth going into junior year, and it just didn't go the right way. But then, so as you said, leading into senior year, now I believe we only had 2 returners. Yeah. So me and Nick were literally the only players who ever played for Bishop Gorman.
Right.
So it was different. So
Yeah.
going in, we knew it was going to be a challenge. But what I love about that group and what I always tell people is that in that circle, we knew we were going to win. So we and on paper, I don't know if we should have. A lot of people will say other things. Because going into that year, I just remember articles and we heard all the noise and we always had group chats and we would just send them. Like we would send screenshots of this guy saying this thing, him saying this team's going to win. And so the city really wasn't backing Gorman like they always do. Because originally, you go back 5 years, we've won 7 times in a row. So everyone just knew Bishop Gorman was going to win. And now my senior year, it's not that. Like we were labeled the underdogs. But we really liked that. We kind of took that and we took that to the heart. And it was just kind of from there, what do we need to do what it takes to win? The group really bought in. So I got to give credit to all my guys. From 1 to 15, we had everyone, every single practice. We conditioned the hardest we ever did. We were in the weight room a lot, and we did what it took. And we had all the freshmen, Elon, Cam, Ty, all of them have different moments throughout the year where typically at Gorman, you're not a freshman coming in, starting, making plays in big games. And you have Elon hitting 3, Cam hitting a 3 in the state championship game, pick and roll. The 2 freshmen doing a pick and roll in the championship. So that was cool. So our freshmen bought in. Jet played a big role. So just from A through Z, we just had everyone buy in, and it was really cool to just have that camaraderie, because that's kind of what we were missing in the previous years. We had all that star power, and those are my guys. I love them, but we had all the star power in the world, and we didn't win. And then you look on this team where maybe we don't have as much star power, but we have everyone who bought in, and that was really just it was really cool to see, and it was really relieving to finally get it done.
High school's over. You finish on top. Got to the mountaintop. The goals you set, you accomplish. Now you're transitioning to the next level. So you've spent some time now at the next level, and you've gotten to see the difference between the highest level high school ball, whether it's 5A state championship, EYBL, to college. Talk to not just me, but I'd say, again, this is the thing I try to tell people. Even when I got to travel with Vegas Elite for the first time, even in high school basketball, there are levels to this, right? And I think a lot of times people don't get to see that. It's one thing to see a clip on Ball is Life or Ball Dogs. It's another thing to actually be a part of it and see it. And so getting to see the different high school levels, even I was oh, wow, there's a huge separation. But now you're putting that to the side and you're saying, hey, I'm going to take another jump on top of that for high-level D1 ball. So what has the experience been like so far for you?
It's been really cool. So I would just say the one thing is the second you're in there, it's focus. So when you get in there, and I've been grateful because I've played high level. So Bishop Gorman, you look at our weight room and it's okay, this is a high level weight room.
Right.
And then shout out Al Garcia. A lot of the stuff we did is almost identical to what I do at UC San Diego. So I would say take it seriously while you're in high school, because a lot of the stuff, especially if you're at a high level high school, a lot of the stuff will be similar. But I would say the main difference is that once you get in, it's serious. There's no we don't get in and we're messing around, shooting around. If you get in and you're early to practice, we call them vitamins. So you're doing a workout before practice.
Right.
So before every single practice, you're with an assistant coach and you're doing a full workout, not just shooting around oh, let me do my warm-up shots. No, you're doing a workout. So that's the only thing I've seen that's been really different is from the second you get into that gym to the second the huddle's done. And then even after that, you're shooting real free throws, not just messing around. You have someone rebounding, shooting real free throws. So I would just say it's staying locked in no matter what, every single second you're in. But UC San Diego has been great. I was out there for 6 weeks for the first summer session, and I had a great experience. It's tiring, you know, and obviously waking up on your own and having your own spot. That's the difference to me. So the basketball has been great, but the real difference has been living on your own and making your own food and figuring out what you're doing and all that. So that's been really eye opening. But I'm excited to get back out there. So yeah.
No nice dinners from mom at night where you just get to sleep. I'm going to take a nap, 4 o'clock, sleep, wake up to a nice spread.
It's been a lot of Chipotle now.
Yeah.
Which it's always been Chipotle, but I eat Chipotle almost every day out there.
Chipotle, okay. Is Ryder, do you have any cooking skills?
I say yes.
What's your go-to if you have to make a dinner, you have to make a meal right now, you have everything you need in the fridge, what can Ryder throw together?
A dinner? See, I'm better at breakfast.
You're better.
I can do a dinner. I can make I like my quesadillas. So I can make a good quesadilla. I can make some lasagna. I say make. It's just pre-eaten lasagna. But breakfast, I like breakfast. So I make a good omelet.
Okay.
I make some pancakes, some waffles, French toast. So like I'm a big breakfast guy. So like if I wake up early enough, I can make a good breakfast. Yeah.
We talked a little bit about the transition to college. You'd mentioned kind of some of the workouts. You mentioned the weight room with Al. Talk to me about kind of your training regimen, because I'd imagine through high school you had one that you stuck to that got you to the point where you were physically ready for college. Now you're kind of transitioning to a new regimen, but you said there's been a lot of similarities, etc.
Sure.
So what, whether it's eating and how you eat or kind of how you kind of work out condition, what are some of the things that you focus on or that you feel like, here are the things I did in high school that I feel like got me ready for this next level now that I'm there?
Yeah, so high school regimen was pretty similar. So high school, I would do Monday, Wednesday, Friday was full body, but mainly legs. So that's like Vertimax, that's back squats, that's deadlifts, that's RDLs. So all that stuff is still stuff I do at UC San Diego. But to prepare is definitely take the weight room seriously, because when you get out there, it's like it's the real deal, you know? So I would say take the weight room seriously. And then so now that I'm back in town, I'm back to my regular regimen. So that's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, legs. And then Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday is mainly upper body. And then every single day is basketball. So you get a basketball workout and then you do legs and then cardio. Cardio is the biggest thing where like I felt prepared because I would run like hills and whatnot and run the neighborhood. And that's what I felt like got me prepared. So at UC San Diego, we do, so we have practice every day, obviously, besides like Sunday. Sometimes we'll get a Saturday off. But we switch off. So it's practice, then we're straight to the weight room. Or practice, and then straight to conditioning. And we just switch off every other day. So definitely just like being in shape cardio-wise is just like most important thing I found, because some of the guys are just like, a lot of the guys are out of shape. Like even me, we got out there and we did our first conditioning. I was like, okay, like when I get back home. It's a different type of shape. It's a different type of shape. It's a high-level D1 shape. So getting back out here, that's what I'm going to make sure I do, because they said, like, come back in better shape. So I would just say that's what I'm, like, implementing more is more cardio. And I'll stick to my weight room, but just every single day making sure I run at least 1.5 miles, 2 miles, and then just do hill sprints, because we do a lot of hills. We do a lot of tempo runs. So not sprints, but tempo runs on the field, and then we'll get out to the track and field and do sprints.
So I like to, a lot of the podcast and what we talk about and what we're going to talk about is positive. It's about things you've done, it's about the things you're going to do, but I think accountability is one of the biggest keys to being a young man, to becoming successful in whatever you do. So I like to have the athlete take a look at themselves. So you're going into your college career, transitioning over. If you could, because this is a clip you're going to be able to like think about or watch in a year, and like it's one of those like reminder moments. If you had to think of something within yourself, either your game, your regiment, yourself as a human being, what is one thing that you can commit to yourself that you're going to work on, that you're like, hey, I know what the next level is now. I know where I want to go. I'm learning how to get there. What's one thing that I know I should focus on a little bit more starting today?
This is kind of broad, but it's the first thing that comes to my mind, and I'll like go deeper, but time management.
Okay.
So that's something like I struggled with, but even in high school, like I would procrastinate. I'm a huge procrastinator. And I think this like goes hand in hand, because like school and basketball as athletes, that's almost all we have. Like by the time we're done with school and done with all of our workouts, like I'm ready to just either get on the game or just go to sleep. Like I'm not going to do too much. So I guess just like having my own schedule, like you don't have, my mom's great on time management. That's what she preaches. She's never late to anything. Like my mom raised us to just like be 15, 20 minutes early to everything. So I would just say like being on my own, it's kind of taking that from my mom, is just work on time management. And that's just not with school, because obviously that's procrastinating work. So making sure I get all my work in, because I mentioned my acting class, and even that I was procrastinating. Like I had to do a little scene prep sheet. I didn't do that until the last second. So just like coming into college, I just want to be better at time management. And then obviously the school aspect, and then basketball side, just getting to practice earlier. Because so as a freshman, I got my freshman duties. So I got to like do the water. So I got to fill up the water before practice. So sometimes like I'll be getting in and then I fill up the water and then it's time to like stretch and get some shots up, when like I should probably get there earlier. So just try to get there earlier to get a good warm up, get a good workout before, then grab the water and then proceed to practice. So I would just say like making sure I have my schedule lined up to where it can really benefit me in school and athletically.
Okay. So in a year when we talk, I'm going to go back to this point. I'm going to say, Ryder, how did we do in time management? How did we do at getting to practice early? And we'll be able to sit down and say like, man, I'm
My
so much
schedule's
better.
on
I really
point.
put it together. But I think that's normal. Again, I had a similar space. So my little high school career, I was really good at procrastinating where I could not study a whole bunch. I could just show up to the test and do well. Like, I think when you have and you realize, like, oh, I'm okay. Like, I don't have to do, like you're talking about the acting stuff. Like, oh, I can put it together at the end. You start to rely on that. And so I spent my high school living that way 100%, right? Definitely. I'm trying to go home and play Call of Duty. Like, there's a lot of other things that once you get to college, you start learning, like, ooh, if I just put a little bit more time, if I just planned a little bit more, that I think and that's just natural. You'll just kind of start to learn and piece together. And so for myself, I think I'm funny enough, a good example of how you can take a professional procrastinator. That's what I said I was in high school. Again, I could not study, just show up to class, show up on test day, and just do it. And I turned that into 14 years of project management, which is the exact opposite. That's 100% prep, planning, organizing, staying on top of it. So I found, like, oh, if I just do a little more, and ended up turning it into a career. But you will start to see as you, again, because you have bigger goals now, as you start to plan more and as you start to kind of put procrastination to the side a little bit, you'll see, I think the same thing I did. My returns were a lot greater. You were like, oh, I did this well procrastinating and just relying on my innate skill, my smarts, etc. If I put a little bit more, like a little bit less procrastination, a little bit more planning, I can 2 times my output. And like, you'll start to see, especially in college, like, it'll really start to pay off. So that's awesome that's like one thing that you're like, hey, I realize it. I can do a little bit better there. And again, you pick something that honestly is a natural high school and teenage, like, that's just the age you're at. So the fact that you're like, hey, I can get better at this, I think says a lot about where you are from a maturity standpoint, and like being able to build on that. I feel like it's no problem for you.
I appreciate it.
So I think college, let's talk about, I think one of the pieces I like to ask, because you had high school goals. You had this idea in your head. You have a list of, like, I want to win a state championship. I want to do this. I want to get a D1 scholarship. Now college, you kind of wipe the slate clean. You talked about freshman duties. Like, you go from being the big dog to now
right here,
back here. But the same thing with a list of goals and, what accomplishments you want to have. You're like, I want to do X, Y, and Z. Now that kind of the path in front of me is cleared. So what are some of those things that you want to accomplish maybe in your first year at college or just kind of throughout your journey? Because I'm sure you've set now kind of some new goals and things that you want to get done.
Definitely. So obviously, like you said, I'm right here, incoming freshman. So you definitely don't have the same, like, idea or concept of what your playing time or what you're going to be for the team. But I would just say, like, how I've always been from day one is doing whatever it takes. When I came into Gorman, it was like COVID, so it was weird. So we didn't really have a season. So it was really my sophomore year was my first year. And that year we had a great team. So it was like, what am I going to do what it takes? So I would just say, like, coming in as a freshman is doing every little thing, doing every little thing right, doing everything right in practice, doing everything right in the scrimmage games we're going to have, doing everything right, whatever playing time I do get, is just helping the team win whatever way I can. And then, like, obviously I think our team goal, because we finished second in the Big West. And I think as a team, we want to win the Big West. Right. And we want to make a tournament appearance. Because this is our first year we're eligible for NCAA March Madness.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So there's like a 4-year transition period, and this is our first year. So we're ready to go. We have a great squad. Returned a lot of the guys. So we have a really good team. So I think, like, as a team, I think we want to make an NCAA tournament appearance. I would say that's one of my goals. I want to play in the tournament.
Yes, sir.
For sure. I think that's every college guy's dream. Like, you just hear about it. March Madness, you grow up filling out the brackets and whatnot. So I want to play in the NCAA tournament. And then individually, obviously I don't know what it's going to look like, but I would say, like, personally, a goal that I have is winning Big West Freshman of the Year. I do want to, like, win that. I do think that'd be a great award, great accomplishment for myself. And then from there, I've never been an individual guy, so I don't have, like, these lofty expectations and goals, but I think that's one of them for sure, and making the tournament is definitely, like, number one.
That's good. Again, staying adaptable, and I feel like through your career, you've done that. Like, when you needed to step up into a role, you stepped up to the role. And again, college, because it's such a new space, you're going to be doing the same thing. So I think that also fits your personality well, because you're going to be able to take the things that you do well, learn the things you don't, and be able to adapt to where, like you said, as a team player, where they need you, what you need to do, and then, like, help the team build and win. So I think that's, like, I think you're in a really good space with the team and the group that you guys are with so far. Did you see, because, when you're young, you have goals, you have dreams. How do you feel so far at this point it turned out?
I'd say great. I'd say amazing. I mean, you were there on the trips. To be honest, it's more like, I'm not trying to sound like cliche or corny, but it's like the memories, like
the journey,
the hotel trip, the team trips, the team travel. We're doing water wars. Like, don't maybe cut this, but we're doing water wars in the hotel, and you filmed all of it. Yeah. We're playing the games, and we're doing everything. So I would just say the people I've met along the way, some of my closest friends, I mean, all of my closest friends are from basketball.
Right.
So the people I've met, the places I've been, like, it's kind of I don't know the word for it. It's surreal. Like, it's just kind of like, I look at it. I've been all over the country. I've been to Boston to play at Hoop Hall. Went to the Spalding Hall of Fame on that trip. I've been to Peach Jam, which is the biggest basketball stage in the world. I've met all these people, and I would say, like, it's been a really fun journey. I've been to Mexico for the national training camp. So I was out there for about a week in Mexicali, and yeah, I went through TJ. So it's like that experience, all those experiences that basketball has brought me it's been surreal, and it's really been a great adventure. And I know this is just scratching the surface. I still have a long way to go. I still have my college career and whatever comes after that. But I'm just, I'm grateful for everything that's happened throughout my career.
So with the success that you've had, with the journey that you've taken, you now find yourself in collegiate basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw it posted online, so you have now committed and signed with Profound Sports Agency.
Mm-hmm.
So talk to me a little bit about that partnership, that relationship, and kind of how that came about.
Yeah, so how that came about, Miles from Profound Sports, he got in contact and with Shiva, I believe. Yeah, Shiva Branch. He's used to coach track at Gorman,
mm-hmm.
and his son Zachariah Branch and Zion Branch, they play for USC. And so Shiva and Miles kind of know each other and kind of got in contact with my dad. And so Profound Sports, they're just like an agency that represents for NIL. So that's not necessarily like an NIL deal. Like, I'm not getting anything from it other than like the representation, which is great. I'm lucky to have, because this is so new that NIL is like, I'm confused about it. I feel like a lot of the athletes are confused about it. So just having someone who's been in that situation and knows how to deal with sponsorships and deals and advertisements and whatever that will come in the next couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited to see where it goes. So I'm blessed to have that and be with Profound Sports. So yeah, I'm definitely lucky.
Yeah, I think that's really good to have, again, with the NIL space. It's like you said, the Wild West now, right?
Unknown.
Having agency in a group with the expertise,
mm-hmm.
the knowledge and background in law, and all those things that, if you're getting contracts thrown in your face and those type of conversations, like, you might look at and, it's like, it's foreign, right? Yeah. So you want people that have that expertise, that have that background to be able to help you navigate the way. And Definitely. So I think that's awesome that they found you and that you guys were able to come to that partnership to now. So as you're going through your journey, you have somebody that you trust and somebody that's going to help kind of walk you through that process
mm-hmm.
as these things come up. And so as we mentioned that, we do have some NIL
mm-hmm.
interest that you've kind of taken on so far.
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to go to my little notes. So talk to me about Ageless Cryotherapy.
Ageless. So yeah, Ageless, they've been great to me. So as I mentioned, all my ankle sprains, they're cryotherapy. That's what they specialize in, but they're really everything. So it's cupping, it's scraping. They're just all high-level athlete recovery, injuries, whatnot. So Aegis has been great for me over the years, just going for cryotherapy mainly and treatment of my ankle sprains. So I'm looking forward to working with them and just seeing where we go from here. And when I'm back in town, going to get cryo and going to get treatment and different things like that. So yeah, Ageless, my guy Dan at Ageless, he's been great to me and looking forward to it.
So I did my research on them. So they do deal with a lot of high-level clientele, right? It's really advanced athletics. So, like, if you take sports seriously, if this is something that you really want to do, whether it is recovering from a serious injury or just, again, getting that proactive treatment, like, they are a really good place. And it sounds like you've had a great experience with them.
Great experience, yeah. No complaints, no anything. Aegis has been wonderful.
Second,
mm-hmm.
we have newcomer to the group. Residency.
There you go.
So talk to me a little bit about your relationship and what Residency has kind of brought to the table and what they mean to you.
Yeah, so Residency, it's a hat company. They also have T-shirts and whatnot, but started out as a hat company, and it really blew up with the NFL.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've seen the San Fran hat. So their San Fran hat is what blew up. So guys like Fred Warner, Trent Williams, it's just a little SF. Yeah. And so that took off. That just blew up. So they have the NFL on lock. So they're trying to branch out into the basketball world because everyone loves repping their city. This is basically how they broke it down to me. Like, I mean, you're wearing Golden Knights and Vegas Elite. Like, everyone loves repping their city, where they live, where they're from. So all their hats are different cities. So from my aspect now is getting the SD basketball side out there. So we're going to have a little SD hat, a little San Diego hat. So getting that out there and advertising that. But no, they're great. Their hats they have a bunch of different styles, and Residency has been great. And then that also leads into the other one, Worms. So that's their candy. It's a little sour.
Heard about that.
They're good. Yeah. They had me try them, and they're good. I was just expecting a little, the same old, but it was really good. I liked it.
That's awesome. Again, you, and thinking of your journey, you are getting to see the fruits of your labor. And, definitely not a shot at you, but you haven't just taken the easy road, right? You've had to work for, one, everything you have, starting with your position at Bishop Gorman. Again, you're talking about after COVID year, you're going into a program that's nationally known, nationally ranked, 8-9 state championships back to back to back. Like, you're going in with 5-star athletes, Junie Mobley, Chris Nwuli, like Keenan Bay. Like, so your expectations are high, right? And you're not coming in like, I'm the guy, I just got a spot. Like, you're having to earn it the whole way through. And then on top of that, dealing with adversity, going through injuries that could have sat you down, that you could have said, I'm not willing to do the PT and put in the work to get back not only to the level that I was at, but to surpass that and come back even better, win a state championship. When you look at the path you've taken, how do you feel about that journey?
I'd say blessed. Like, the journey itself, obviously, as you mentioned, has been not perfect, but no one's journey is perfect, So I would just say that my journey has taught me a lot. So taught me about, staying in the labs, keeping your head down, and like, if you're not getting the results you want right away, because recruitment didn't take off right away because I was dealing with injury and because I didn't have the role, I would say. Wasn't putting up the points that like a lot of that get people recruited.
Right.
But I would just say, like, staying true to yourself. That's what I did throughout. Like, I feel like I've done a good job of playing my style of basketball no matter what. Like, so no matter who's on my team, like, I'm going to still try to play the right way, whether it's at a camp, which I hate camps, but whether it's at a camp, whether it's playing EYBL, whether it's with 5 stars, and whether it's playing Bishop Gorman with, no offense, but guys who've never played at that level before.
Right.
So I've seen it all. I've been on a variety of different teams, and I would just say, like, playing the right way and playing my style of basketball has gotten me here and has gotten me to the place where I wanted to be. So even if it didn't happen right away, just staying true to yourself and really playing your style of basketball, whatever that is. Everyone has that different style, but I'd say, just really staying true to yourself.
I like it. All right. So I want people to be able to find you and on social media to be able to learn more about you, see your highlights, kind of follow your journey now. So for this time, I'm going to give you camera. We're going to call that camera C right there.
Gotcha.
I'm going to have you look into the camera and give us your Instagram username, and then we'll take it and we'll overlay it on the screen right below. So where can people find Ryder?
So Ryder Elisaldez on Instagram. That's Ryder, RYDER.Elisaldez, ELISALDEZ.
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 That's how it's pronounced. Elisaldez. We got that. Well, Ryder, I appreciate you so much. Again, there's a small group of people for me that are extremely special. One, because the beginning of my sports videography, photography journey, like there's a group of kids that I started with and got to spend, again, like the Vegas Elite sessions, got to spend a lot of time with. So, getting to see, you guys, even in these quick 2.5 years, like grow and reach the accomplishments that you're reaching, and be able to see the journey from, again, the Ryder I originally met to game-winning Section 7 Ryder, to state championship Ryder, to Vegas Elite Ryder, to, there are all these different Ryders that now kind of are coming together, like either what reference people want to use, Voltron or Power Rangers, to form like Super Ryder, and now take that and bring that out to the world, taking you to college, I think, again, is just the start, right? Yeah. And so now, I'm so proud of everything you've accomplished because, again, you did meet so many goals that most kids, by the time they end up high school, at the end of high school journey, they didn't hit. So you got to reach those accomplishments that you set out for yourself, get the D1 scholarship, and now kind of take that journey to the next step. I'm excited to see kind of where you go from here and like follow you along this journey.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you for doing this podcast not only, but just filming over the years, all those highlights, all the hours you put in. It doesn't go unnoticed, and we all appreciate it. And on the team trips, like you said, I mean, you were doing everything for us. You were really our like main guy. And I think I remember you grabbing sandwiches for us one time. Like, I still remember that to this day. That's just like, you didn't have to do that. You're here to film us. But, I mean, that's just real, and we all appreciate you. So
I appreciate that. Like you said, team player, right? You do whatever it takes to get the job done, help the team win.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you coming on the podcast. I want to thank you for joining us. Thank you guys for watching. Again, you can find us on YouTube at Anything for Sports TV and on Instagram at Anything for Sports. Thank you guys for joining. We'll see you in the next one.